Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed Friday night once again on the bus, of course. You know what that means. Time to get that Friday feeling. And despite the fact that we're all dressed in black tonight, no, we are not mourning Celtic's horrendous transfer window. We are here to try and keep it positive because, yes, on the Friday feeling, we look forward to the weekend because the Celtic are now back in domestic league action after their return last week against the mighty Bucky Thistle, the warm-up game to get us ready for the main event, Ross County tomorrow. So that's what we're here to talk about, as well as anything else that's going on in Celtic land. And as you can see tonight on the bus, I'm joined by a guy who's not been on for a wee while. The last time he was on was literally a fleeting appearance on a Friday night. He was here for 5 minutes and he had to do a runner on us. He was playing taxi that night. But David Logue, welcome back onto the Friday feeling, mate. I hope you've got the Friday feeling, mate.
Cheers for having me back on after I had the bolt after, like you said, 5 minutes the last time I was on here, but I'm finally back. Glad to be back. And yes, I've got that Friday feeling.
Well, so we'll try and keep it positive. We'll try and find all the, we'll get through this together, guys. Because it's been a tough one. It has been tough, but at the same time, none of us are really surprised at this point, which is a really sad indictment of where things are. And of course, what would a Friday night be on the bus without bus heritage? Indeed, Friday night fills on along with Liam, the punk duck warlord, Canada's favourite Tim, the wise man of the bus, the beard of knowledge. I saw you get called the other week as well in the chat one time, Liam. I think it might have been Timmy Bing said that, the beard of knowledge. But yeah, here he is. And a hell of a choice tonight, Liam. That Celtic away shirt is an all-timer. And I like that you've got the tricolour as well, shown as well on the bottom of the sleeves. But 2012-13 away kit is legendary. Just a shame it was only on a away kit for one season, but good choice, mate. I endorse it.
Aye. It's good. Still my pension. senior bus pass on the bus. So thanks for the kind words.
No worries, babe. But yeah, it's just I see that show always makes me think of Victor Wanyama, that one, because that was he was immaculate that season. But yeah, before we reminisce about good players from good transfer windows and get too deep into it, let's of course do all that good stuff first and foremost. Of course, folks, hit that like button, helps us out in the old algorithms. I like to always say algorithm CSC can push obviously the name of the bus into other people's inboxes on YouTube, their recommended videos. Of course, get involved in our comment section tonight. There is a poll, a rather depressing poll at the top thing. I've not done one on a Friday night in a wee while, but of course the question is quite simply, how many do you, the dear viewer, think that Celtic will bring in before next Thursday's deadline? 0, 1, 2, or hey, let's be optimistic, 3 or more. Come on, Celtic surprises. So get involved in the poll tonight. I'll check out the results at the end of the show. Obviously, share the link of the Bhoys bus far and wide on whatever social media platform is your poison. And of course, you can hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so yet. We would appreciate it massively. We are bearing down on 4,500. It's like less than 100 to go now, maybe less than 50 to go. I've not checked the latest total, but yeah, that's our next landmark, 4,500. Of course, head over to piesports.com and get yourself your tasty pastry treats. Use the code BUS1888 to let them know that the bus sent you. Get 12.5% off your order. All that's said and done. Let's get on with it, guys. So let's start with some good news, Liam. Greg Taylor's injured. I joke, I jest. Before you all throw tomatoes or bricks, please refrain. I'm only kidding. Let's talk about the actual good news, if you want to call it that. CCV, Liam, 2029, hashtag CCV 2029, a 5.5-year contract extension for Cameron Carter-Vickers. Obviously, it goes without saying, by far and away the best defender in the team. On his day, maybe the best defender in the league. Obviously, he's got a bit of injury problems at the moment, and I hope that isn't going to be a long-term thing. Hopefully, it's just a mere glitch in the matrix, and he starts to get back to full fitness properly, because it does feel like this season he keeps on getting crocked, and maybe we rushed him back too quickly at the start of the season. Who knows? But either way, how are you looking at it? Because some fans will look at it as quite a cynical thing, where we're just protecting our assets. Probably very likely. I mean, he's going to be here at 2029. Probably not. And we're just trying to obviously, push his value up a wee bit. Others may look at it from a point of view, Liam, that the transfer window, the actual incomings, has been pretty barren up to now, and this is a good news story to get the fans on side. Or should we just be celebrating it for what it is, Liam? Where are you on this one?
think if we had a better transfer window, we'd be buzzing about it. You know, I'm surprised at the length of it, just knowing that he is a wee bit injury prone, but I don't know, maybe he's just a smart boy. Maybe he just likes it here and he's seen that he's actually played some of his best football here. And I think, we very rarely get beat when he plays back there. And when you know, unfortunately, we've not seen him in Europe and that. And I don't know. I don't know what the money is on it. But, you know, it just might be a good deal for both of us. So, yeah, I'm taking that as great news. I think, you know, we've had such nay news. Is it a camouflage by the board? Absolutely. No chance that's like they're doing that because it's the right thing to do. They're trying to dig themselves out a hole because loyal son sat in his arse all through Christmas. He's watching box sets of The Wire, Sopranos, whatever the fuck he was doing. He wasn't scared. He wasn't talking to his team, you know. So, I don't know. You know, aye, they're throwing us one, but it's a good one, and I'm happy about it. But I think he's a hell of a player for us. So, I just hope he stays healthy. Yeah,
that is the key into David, because unfit Carter-Vickers is no good to anybody. But as Liam rightly said there, when he has played, we very seldom lose. I think it's one. Well, obviously him and Starfelt had that amazing run together. The only domestic game they lost was the extra time loss to Rangers at Hampden. But domestically, when he's played, I think it's the Hearts game this season was the one that we lost. Otherwise, though, when usually he plays, we do not too bad at the back. And yeah, it's just so crucial that we do keep him fit. And say there is that worry that the hamstring injury, you know, and obviously went away for surgery in the summer. Did he come back a bit too quick? I'd like to hope not. His elbow was just a glitch in the matrix, just a blip essentially, and we can keep him fit for the second half of the season. Because my God, for us to retain this title with the way things are right now, he is imperative, David.
Yes, obviously it's. I mean, I was delighted when I seen it come up on my Twitter feed today that he'd signed the new deal. But I think we're right in saying that the timing of the announcement speaks volumes. There's no really any. It's not necessary to let us know that he signed the deal today. You know what I mean? That they could have just kept. They could have kept that in the back pocket and let us know at any point. They've decided to use it now, probably to soften the blow after Rodgers' press conference when, let's be honest, he didn't fill us with much confidence that anybody is going to be coming in. I've still got hope that we'll get 2 by deadline day. I think it's going to be one of those days. So I'm still holding out for 2. But Rodgers not filling us with confidence. I think the board have went right. Pull the trigger now. Just let's announce that he's signed the deal today. It'll keep them off our backs a little bit longer between now and the end of the window. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it's great for us that we've managed to keep him, because I think a lot of us were kind of getting to the point where we're probably going to lose this boy in the summer. He's been colossal for us, and he's obviously he's got his injury problems which will concern us. But I think my cynical side, maybe some of these guys these teams that have been looking at Cameron Carter-Vickers, it won't have gone unnoticed that he's been injured a lot this season, and maybe that'll cool the Jets a wee bit on trying to sign him. He's not had the best record in the Premier League, therefore that could also be playing a factor that teams have maybe just went, didn't work out for him last time. He's done well at Celtic. You should maybe go for him. He's starting to get injured. We'll look at other targets, and I think maybe Cameron Carter-Vickers' agent has maybe said to him as well, look, you've played your best football here. You're getting in the national team. You're getting to play Champions League football. Celtic, you'll be better be playing Champions League football next year. You're a pillar. You've been described as a pillar of the club, of the team. Mm-hmm. Maybe this is the best decision for you. Now he's getting offered a 5.5-year deal, and I reckon he'd be one of our highest paid players now. I
would think so, yeah.
But the 5.5 years, do you not think the 5.5 years is just a little bit too long? I think 3 years would have sufficed. How old is he now? How is he, 26?
I was thinking the same. Was somebody on Twitter saying that there was an offer for Qatar for him came in?
Oh, right, okay.
This be another angle. Right, well, that might be there might be other interests. That could be another one of our assets going to the Saudi League. I mean, he might be built for that league there. He's a journeyman pro. You never know, and it might be, okay, we're getting interest with Saudi, Qatar for him. And our board just went like, okay, same what we did with Petrov before we sold him. Get him to sign a contract, and then we're going to make sure you get a good wage. You know?
Yeah, no, that is a fair shout. Again, got to try and protect your assets and get as much value out of them as we can, because, you know, we're quite happy to sit here and tell the world how much we value the players. So the board's got to, if the day comes, they've got to sell them, got to make sure they do get them. But Liam, something David said about some of Brendan's words this week, I believe, at a press conference, he mentioned about how he wants to try and bring players through and give them a pathway through to the first team, which, again, should we be worried about that? Should that be an encouraging thing? Because there should always be an element of players coming through and doing what's it? Because over the last 20 years or so, Aidan McGeady, Callum McGregor, Kieran Tierney, James Forrest, they're probably the standout ones. You've got other ones like Stephen McManus, who went on and became club captain and lifted many trophies, alongside Gary Caldwell at centre-back, like pulled that one off somehow. So it's always good to see these boys doing well, but obviously we've talked many times, Liam, about the quite depressing sort of system that the B team find themselves in, the style of football they're having to play against, cloggers down in the 5th or the 6th tier on terrible surfaces with no promotion or relegation, so no consequences for their games. It's all essentially glorified friendlies. But of course, Liam, there has been the news about Rocco Vata, about him maybe getting a new deal. So is the tide turning? Is Brendan actually going to start giving these guys a chance? Because we brought this up last week or a couple of weeks ago when I did the sort of breakdown about homegrown players, and we do need to have a contingent of homegrown players for UEFA squads, or else our foreign players, some of them can't get registered for squads because of the rules UEFA have got. So we need to have a solid and reliable contingent who can actually contribute and are not there to merely tick a box. James McCarthy, for example. So we do need to have them. I did say, though, David brought this up last Sunday on the Blarer about these players and how we letting them get away, who have we missed out on. And my feeling was, Liam, we are not in a position to take a chance sometimes. I think under Ronnie Dyler, it worked for like Tierney and McGregor because, let's be honest, let's just say it as the pressure was off those few years because Rangers and their misdemeanours. But nowadays, this season in particular, they are pretty much breathing down our neck. And my worry would be, because so far the B team haven't really shown much when you look at the results. If Brendan was to start bleeding them in and we drop points, the first thing that fans are going to home in on, Liam, on Twitter and all the other social media things is, why did you play such a weakened squad? Why did you play the players? They weren't ready for the first team. Him saying that, though, does make me think that, are we going down that route? Is it going to be, I'm sorry, we're not bringing in too many new players, but this is what we're going to try and do. We're going to try and improve our youth system. So how do you feel on it all, Liam? Are you worried? Are you excited maybe that there is going to be a gem? Is Rocco Vata going to be that secret weapon?
I tell you what, the guy who knew a player for the youth system and did the best out of the lot of them, the one name you didn't mention, then he came through our youth system, but he came through the same pathway. And he's going to be one of the most expensive players in the world this summer. That's Jeremy Frimpong. Yes. What a player. He coming out. Remember the first game that we seen him coming up for the youths? It was like, who is this guy? Because there wasn't, he came in all of a sudden, there wasn't much fanfare about it. There wasn't a lot of people saying, oh, this wee guy in the reserves is good. It's like, Lennon must have seen him right away and just said, keep an eye on him, watch him. He's brilliant. I want to see him, tell me what he's doing. Because he just seemed to get into the team that quick and did well. He scored his first couple of goals. So, it's possible that we can do that. But I think you have to have more experienced players. That not just experience, but actually good players. Players that are not just because we've been to the club 5 years. David Turnbull's, Taylor's, Welsh, all the Ralston, all the guys that have just been there for ages, donks, So I don't know. We've got to figure out what that pathway is. Do I think Brendan's the guy to do that? No, he doesn't look like it, does he? I mean, I didn't think Brendan would come back. I know he was going to make players better, but I was hoping it would be some of these like 2-3 million players get and bring some of them with good coaching, management, nutrition, whatever, right? I didn't think he was the guy who take charge of the youth. And if that's the case, we've got to do a lot better than, like, what do you call him? OD and McManus. They're not his guys, right? They were never even his teams. I don't think any of them crossed over. So I don't know if is he the guy to do it. I mean, I think we need a director of football. I need Rodgers to impress me, right? It's like I don't. It's against everything he says at the beginning. He's starting to talk himself into riddles now. Whereas, like you said, the complete opposite in September. You wanted you wanted power. You need to vote, and now it's like, we're going with the youth now. And I don't know, I'm expecting me to rip off the Scooby Doo mask. It's with El Hadji or something like that. Oh
God. Oh God, the very first. No, you're right. There has been a few moments along the way where what he is saying goes completely against what we're seeing in front of our own eyes, and it's like something ain't adding up here. And yeah, I know what you mean with some of the things that he said. One of the things he's been very consistent in is about we need quality. That's the word, quality. Keeps on going on about it. 3 or 4 seems to be the numbers he keeps branding around, and yeah, right now we're not seeing much of it. But David, here's an interesting point. Brown Warrior saying, would you rather see Vatter and Summers make it, or a plethora of relative unknowns being developed for profit? Interesting enough, if we were to develop the youth players, that could equal profit. And that's even more profit because they came through our youth ranks, didn't pay anything for these guys. So that would work out for the board. From the board's point of view, either outcome is good for Peter Lawwell and his team from that one. But as I say, we do need a homegrown contingent. They have to obviously be guys that can actually contribute. At the moment, we've got a lot of guys like James McCarthy who are there merely to tick a box for UEFA squad criteria, and they don't actually contribute anything. So yeah, I would be in favour of if we can develop these players. But my worry is, I just feel like Celtic are in a position right now where they cannot take too many risks with too many youngsters coming through, because we cannot afford to lose this title. We cannot do it. So this pathway, David, that Brendan Rodgers has suddenly began talking about, maybe that's going to be his new buzzword for the next X amount of press conferences, pathway. Where does it lead? Does he really think in his head that, I can start bleeding these guys in? I have enough confidence that we'll get over the line ahead of Rangers? Because I say, if it goes Pete Tong, fans were very fickle and they're going to get the brunt of it.
Well, that's it, because it's like, obviously we'd love to see the boys like Vatt and Summers come into the team and just hit the ground running, and and obviously the only way that's going to happen, or give the opportunities for that to happen, is to play them. But we as fans, nobody's demanding that. Nobody's calling for, let's play Vatt and Summers. We don't want that. We're calling for quality to come in. Where's these guys that's going to be better than Greg Taylor, better than Kyogo, better than Cameron Carter-Vickers, better than O'Reilly if he leaves? Like, it's not going to be Vatt and Summers. Like, as much as we'd love it to be, it's just not going to be. And the problem is, we as Celtic fans, we don't have, and we can't really afford to have the patience right now to see if it's going to work halfway through a season. That's just bring him in. It kind of almost screams, play Turnbull and Sorrow. Let's try Turnbull and Sorrow. Let's see if that'll inject some life into the midfield. And well, maybe now the Sorrow's nowhere to be seen, and we're obviously pushing to see Turnbull leave in the summer. Of course, I would love to see Vatter. Because I mean, he came on and he looks big and strong, but then you've got your manager saying he's got a lot to learn. Yeah. If he's got a lot to learn, then we don't have the time right now for him to learn it. So unfortunately, get your hands in your pockets, boys, and find us a very striker. But no, because Brown Warrior, he does pose a good question, because yes, I would prefer to see. I would prefer to see Vatt and Summers get the chance over a whole load of unknowns. But the problem we have is the unknowns excite us a lot more than the boys that we've got.
Yep, I've said that before.
It's the most exciting part about being a football fan, especially when the football's not on, is being linked with these guys. Have you ever heard of them? Nah, but he's got a fancy name, so he's going to be good, surely. You know, that's just how your mind works.
Giacomo Raspadori, he sounds amazing with that name. That name just makes him sound like a baller. He probably is, you know, he plays for Napoli. But yeah, just that name alone, you're like, oh, he sounds like a baller. Just to hear that, Raspadori. You know, that's
Warrior, you're absolutely right. 8 can it stay where first team start was at 17 and 18, but
times are changing.
Is Fat and Summers stay in Aitken?
No.
We don't have the time to find out, unfortunately. That's the biggest issue. It's not that we don't want to see them get the chance. I'm sure everyone would love to see them get the chance. But right now, I don't think we can afford to give them that. We can't afford to give them the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. When are we? And then the question is, well, when is going to be the time?
Yeah.
Well, start tearing up the B side first and start winning those games. Then we'll talk.
Yeah. And also the losing civil service strollers, as Mark always points out. That's the team he always uses as the example, but it's sadly true. But let's have a focus on tomorrow anyway, because that's what we normally do in the Friday feeling. And yeah, usually we'll go through the team, look at a few key positions. And Liam, got to come to you first on this one, because normally we always start at the back. No point in talking about the goalkeeper. It's always going to be Joe Hart, unless like early in the season he got a red card and he was suspended, but it's going to be Joe Hart. However, in the back line, Greg Taylor, I say he's injured. Say sorry earlier on, and I said obviously good news. But as we know on the bus, yeah, when it comes to Greg Taylor, he's quite an interesting topic, especially for Liam here. But yeah, he will not be playing for the next couple of weeks. Celtic, of course, have not reinforced the left back position. Bernabei has disappeared into the abyss. He might play. He might get a wild start. I mean, a few weeks ago when we lost to Hearts, he hadn't been in a matchday squad for months, and suddenly he's on the bench. We're 2-0 down, and suddenly he's thrown on as a forward to try and bail us out. Wouldn't even shock me. But yeah, Kevin has came in and said Mitchell Frame into cover Taylor or Scales shifted to left back. And Liam, how many times have we talked about we'd love to see Liam Scales at left back? Is tomorrow going to be the day, or will a wild Bernabei appear? Or hey, maybe Mitchell Frame, after his cameo against Feyenoord, where he looked all right, let's be honest, he didn't look too bad. Is he going to get thrown into the picture? Literally. But yes, Liam.
I don't take any enjoyment Greg Taylor getting injured. I hope he recovers. He's all right, you know.
Yes.
It's just like seeing a square wheel, you know, on a car. You know, you get 3 round ones and 1 square one. That's all. It just always sticks out to me that seems to be the obvious place that we need improvement. You know, and it just happens to be him, and he just happens to be the loudest one in the dressing room, according to everybody. And I don't know, maybe I'm shouting too much. Did they say what he strained? Anyway.
I just heard he's out for 2 to 3 weeks. I don't know, must have picked up a knock in training or something like that. But yeah, I've seen, he's out. But yeah, of course, it's one of the positions that we've been screaming out to get improved, Liam. The board haven't obviously done it. A couple of names have been linked with us, that Owen Beck, but that was a whole shambles in itself, what's happened there. And Tiago Araújo, Portuguese player, that one's went a bit cold. But yeah, tomorrow.
Not on loan somewhere, Phil? Is he not already on loan somewhere, that boy?
No, I believe he's signed for Estoril. I think he's actually an Estoril player, but he's a former Benfica youth. I believe he's that. Okay. I think that's the case, because we're talking about paying a fee for him from Estoril, so he must be their player. But yeah, it's just quite appropriate, Liam. And some fans I've seen tonight, and Celtic fans on Twitter are saying, well, the board reap what they sow here. They didn't go out and address that position when it was something we needed, and karma has unfortunately injured our only starting left back, essentially. But yeah, the rest of the back line, I think, you know, I mean, Liam Collar, there's a name that hasn't appeared on here in a while, and he's now a member. I've seen that earlier on that he's now a member, so thanks, Liam Collar, for becoming a member. Johnson, Carter-Vickers, Scales, Frame. But what about Nawrocki getting a start? So I think Nawrocki will play, and I think Scales will move to left back tomorrow, Liam.
I think we could see that. I mean, I think once he goes there, I think our team will play with a lot better. I think we'll be less vulnerable at set pieces and that, but just getting that height and power there. You know, let somebody else carry the ball through the midfield or do the runs through the midfield, because it seems to be just distracting Kyogo. Like when it's Taylor shooting past you in the right wing. You know, we've been crying out for power and dynamics and somebody to come down that side. You know, so I want to see somebody that's going to come into the team that's going to be able to take that ball for the back line and not just go to the halfway line and then look for Callum McGregor. I want somebody that's powered by some of their midfielders, because that's where they block us. They block us at that point, because unless it's a direct or an easy ball, he goes back the other way with it, or he'll shoot it back and then he'll moan and tell somebody else to move it up the park. And so I'm hoping Scales comes in, fills that position, and that's sort of the things that he fixes. So that he comes in, he's going to win those balls in the air, in the box when we're defending corners and set pieces. And I think also he's going to be able to take big strides and get that ball up and transition it quicker so Kyogo can actually run while he's onside into a great position, because right now we're wasting him like that. So that's what I hope Scales brings to the team. So I hope he starts. I think it's trying out for him. He could be our Tierney for years to come if he takes advantage of this. And look what he did. He did well with the opportunity he has at centre back. So see what he can do there. That could be his position forever.
Yeah, well, I've seen a few people as well tonight saying, where's Liam Scales' new deal? Because obviously that's something we've talked about after Carter-Vickers getting one, but I think that one's in the pipeline anyway. I do think that will happen at some point down the line. But yeah, in terms of the defence, it pretty much picks itself at the moment with that one. The rest of it, David with Johnson to Carter-Vickers. I think it will be Nawrocki. I see Nawrocki was also saying he's been waiting on his chance eagerly, so it'd be quite a kick for him to suddenly find himself frozen out again. But I do think he will. We've got to play. I mean, what did we pay $4.5 million for him? I don't think he's been that bad. I mean, I understand. Even with Lagerbielke, to be fair, I don't think he's been that bad. But anyway, Brendan sees these guys in training every single day. Yes, he's better qualified than most of us to judge it, but that's another story. We'll see what happens with Lagerbielke in the next few days, if he is going to move on or not. Because, the latest story with there was an Italian team looking at him that wanted us to continue paying his full wage. They weren't willing to take on any of his wages. So we'll see what the Celtic think to that one. But midfield, David, obviously there's a big story this week about a certain midfielder who's causing a lot of headlines at Celtic with having the best season of his career, I would say. Obviously, Matt O'Reilly was subject to a bid from Atletico Madrid. They must have been very impressed with that 1-2 pass he played with Kyogo in the 2-2 draw that night. In fact, he did it against Lazio as well, didn't he? He had 2 identical assists for 2 identical Kyogo goals. But yeah, Atletico Madrid coming in, and Celtic, of course, have pretty much confirmed that, there was a bid and we have rejected it. Brendan said, no, you'll be here to the end of the season, which tells me that, yes, he probably will be off in the summer, which, again, I'm real enough to know that this is sadly the world that Celtic live in nowadays when it comes to our players. He probably will be gone, but for the time being, he is here, and he's so crucial. Hopefully, I think he's a good enough professional. He's always got his head screwed on. He seems like he is the type of player that will suddenly be his head's gone. Essentially, he's distracted. I think he'll be the consummate professional right through to the end of the season. I don't think it'll be like, I can't wait to get out of here and go to Atletico Madrid. I think he'll still be on it, playing at his best right through. But huge news this week, wasn't it? And are you surprised at the level that's looking at him? Because I say Atletico Madrid, massive team. So Diego Simeone, the manager, they obviously got a close look at him by playing us, and he saw enough in him to obviously have a sniff around him. But are you surprised at that level? Or did you think it was going to be maybe more mid-table type teams? Because that's a top-end team. That's an elite level team that's linked with him.
I mean, it kind of, when we were starting to hear rumours that he was obviously being looked at, and it was like the likes you said, was that team in Spain that are sitting top of the league now?
Girona,
they were getting linked to him, and we're getting linked with them and stuff. I was quite surprised that an Atletico Madrid were the first team to put an official offer in. Do I think he'll go to Atletico Madrid? I don't know, because now that Atletico Madrid have made the offer, I think that will then maybe have alerted other clubs that maybe have been watching from afar to start that might start coming in the summer. Because at the end of the day, I think that's what Atletico Madrid's done. I think they know fine well that Celtic might, a loan with an option to buy. I don't think Madrid were that confident that we would agree to let our player leave on loan now and not get anything for him. I think that was just a case of letting us know, look, we're interested. A couple of kicks around the tyres and just say, look, we want him in the summer. we'll throw it in a wee cheeky. Can we get him now to the end of the season, and then we'll give you your money.
Yep.
Knowing fine well, Celtic probably would have went. Well, obviously did say, well, no, because we need him right now. I think it's just a case of room for negotiation now. Like we've let you aware. Now Matt's aware. Celtic's probably said to him, look, if we get the right offer from them in the summer, you want to go, you can. We're not going to stand in your way, so long as you're happy to, and be a professional. And like you say, Phil, he is. You can tell, like after his interviews, he was quite open about what he likes to do in terms of match preparation. He does yoga. He goes. He mentioned something on that Viaplay that he does. He says it's a bit random, it's a bit weird, but it works for me.
Oh, he's got a personal trainer in India or something like that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Helps with his mind and stuff. So, likes to have a clear mind, as he said. So, like, you'll have a clear mind for the rest of this window. He knows what he's doing right now. It's working for him. It's getting bids from the likes of Atletico Madrid and probably the likes of maybe some Premier League clubs, perhaps. But I think, I could see him going out and playing in Spain. But I don't think he's that bothered about it being solely a view Celtic to get to the Premier League. I think he'd be quite open to go into like a foreign a club in Europe like Italy or Spain or even Germany or whatever. I do think we'll see other big clubs coming in. We're not going to see Southampton levels and Bournemouths and stuff. I think it will be the likes of Atletico Madrid's, Borussia Dortmund's maybe, clubs like that. But yeah, he's got it this summer. But fair fucks to him. He's been phenomenal, and I'm just glad that Celtic have stayed strong and said, no, not right now. Because at the end of the day, we get 25 to 30 million from, say, in the summer if we let him go now. Yeah, well, we're gambling on 60 million here, and we need him right now for that 60 million, and then we'll let you go with our blessing, I guess.
Yeah, we'll see. He's here for the time being. Brendan's been
that never crossed my mind, Alex. The financial fair play that didn't even cross my mind.
A lot of teams are finding workarounds. FFP seems to be really in vogue at the moment in world football because when you actually look at the bigger picture of the transfer window, there hasn't been a lot of big movers. I know the notorious January is a hard window. It only seems to be a hard window for us, but it seems like the rest of world football's having a hard window as well because you ain't seeing many huge transfers, but I'm sure Sky Sports News will have a few saved up for Thursday night for the Premier League drama, no doubt. Will we see who was the Nigerian striker, Odom Wingate, that turned up at Loftus Road and parked outside the stadium and try to force a move? Maybe we'll see some drama like that. I'd like to hope that somebody will try and park upside Celtic Park and try and force a move. That'd be really handy if they did. If Celtic won't come to you, why don't you come to us? Try force a move through. Give us something to talk about on deadline night. We shall wait and see. But obviously, Liam, one of the things that's when it comes to the Matt O'Reilly saga, hopefully it doesn't turn into too much of a saga, but when it comes to a replacement, is he already in the building? That is the question, because NM has said the board are crossing their fingers and toes that Bernardo turns out to be fucking amazing. Bernardo is definitely coming on to a game, and I have said before on the show that I do think this is an Edouard Dembele situation where the replacement's already in the door. I think they've already lined it up, because this is the problem. Like, I do think we need more than just Bernardo. It can't just be, that's just the replacement and that's it, because on paper, and sadly, football ain't played on paper, this sounds good. A midfield three of Hatate, Bernardo and McGregor. But Hatate might be away as well in the summer. And also, this season, Hatate's been in and out with injury. He's currently, obviously, at the Asian Cup. So he hasn't had any real consistency. So we're at a position where injuries happen, suspensions happen, and the drop-off from our top midfielders to the next guys down is so vast. Say David Turnbull, I really wouldn't have him near another Celtic team right now. The guy's running down his contract. To me, he's got one eye on the door. So I'd be facing him out. But to say the way things are, he could easily find his way back in if somebody gets suspended or injured. Home, I know he scored a goal last week, albeit it was Bucky Thistle, but he did get a start anyway. He is obviously a player. He's going to have to get developed somehow. He can't develop from sitting in the stands. But yeah, see, the drop-off's really huge. So that is my worry, where if Celtic did do something mad, like they did sell, let's say the Matt O'Reilly thing did happen and he moved this January, and Celtic then went and triggered the Bernardo release clause or whatever it is they need to do, I'd say it would need to be more than just that, because yeah, I say you've got to consider that one, Hitate's form has been erratic, and two, there's also a good chance that Hitate won't be there. But again, Liam, do we trust the board with any sort of long-term vision? Does that even compute with them?
We're talking about this at the end of January now, right? I'm
26th of January.
in the end of June having the same conversation of how are they not reacting? How are they not? Are they no? What do you mean you've not got anybody else lined up, or you haven't done any due diligence? What? It just never seems to me. It always surprises me. You know, it's just like, okay, so now that we got players that we're going to be leaving, that we know it's going to be there, are we really relying on this youth pathway and thinking that somehow we're going to turn, like, okay, so we've let Bernardo get into his groove now, but you know, we're going to wait to see if what Palmer can do that now, because he went hot and then he went cold. Now he's looking at Ryan Christie, video how to shoot it.
Try to score direct for corners. That's his thing, by the way. Try to score direct from them.
Hitting them, not in the glasses of fans and stuff. It's just, I don't know. He doesn't seem to. You know what? I watched the thing this week, the thing on Celtic TV with Walsh, Narosky, and Johnson. And you know what? I don't like about seeing the interviews. These players feel just too comfortable playing for Celtic. You just look at everything about them, and like Johnson's like this, and it's like fucking. It's like, when do you ever see Bertie Auld or fucking Henrik Larsson or anybody like sitting like that in fucking interviews and shit? And it's not me fucking ranting as an old guy. It's just like you have to play for Celtic every week and give it every week to be a Celtic player. Not just show up and have a couple of good games and then you're in the squad now and you're in the Superstore or JD or whatever it was, right? In front of the camera and stuff. That's not what it's fucking about. I don't know. Just something I want to get off my chest, because it's like, it really annoys me. But you see that. That's what I like about guys like Jota and Matt O'Reilly. They don't look like they're comfortable playing for Celtic. They always look like they're trying to improve themselves and move in a direction and all that, and just do it in a way that was just. It's what Ange talked about when he liked the player character. He looked for that character, and you could really, really see it in those two. They had because there was similarities, And
sorry, Luke, I just jump in. See where you're. I mean, I can totally understand where you're coming from in terms of, like, it can obviously irritate you as a fan watching that, but I think it's just a product of modern day football now, mate. Like, I follow quite a lot of different clubs on social media, like the Twitter stuff, and you see their players doing it too. And the problem is, I think it's bled down through the Premier League becoming such a production. The Premier League is such a production. You've got Amazon Prime wanting to do constant behind the scene documentaries they are brilliant. They're entertaining. Netflix, the players now, especially at the A clubs, they're not relatable. They're not. They are literally superstars. They're celebrities that people want. It doesn't matter if it's Manchester United. You've got Salah taking a penalty against Man United, and you've got Man United fans with their phones out, ready to record the penalty going in. And I feel like, unfortunately, because of the byproduct of social media, that's how all clubs feel they need to act like. Oh, we need to have all this content out for the fan. We'll get Greg Taylor sitting with his arm up here, chilling out while Alison Johnson's just having it. Who's got the worst dress sense in the? Where really fans like us don't really care who's got the worst dress sense. We're more bothered about who's got the best left foot. At the club. But I think it's just a byproduct of 2024's modern day football, and it's just and it's here to stay. And it's irritating especially when we're getting frustrated, going, "Where's all the signings? Why does it feel like you're not putting it all in a game or whatever?" And unfortunately, and that's because you're sitting there watching them just having a laugh, and because we've got so much, we get such a view of what it's like behind the scenes now. Yeah. That before it was a case of you saw these guys on a Saturday or a Sunday as model professionals putting the blood, sweat, and tears into the game, and that's all you saw. And now we're so
the social media day and age. That's it.
Aye.
Aye. Jesse Lingard and Paul Pogba to blame. I feel like Graham
that's
Souness
their
on
fault.
Super
Well,
Sunday. What's Paul Pogba doing about this? So his
I don't
fault.
know. I mean, I don't entirely agree with it. I think there is, but you look at other, as I said, if you look at Matt O'Reilly, an example, and everything he's doing to further himself with meditative coaching, yoga, and all that stuff, there is performance-based athletes that take it to a different level. They can still do a casual interview or show up in Bears, wearing a vintage tap, and they'll make great content. But I'm saying it's like when I see specific players, and it's just a personal thing that I see. I worked in this industry. I used to cast people for things all the time. And when I watch somebody like Alistair Johnson, you just look at the body language and what's said in the interviews. It's like that's somebody that I think that's got too comfortable playing for a club like Celtic. This isn't Montreal. What's it fucking name? They change it all the time, by the way. It's FC, I think. Used to be insipid and trapid and even Olympic. Anyway, but so exactly like a club thing, nothing club, to Celtic, and it's like, fuck, I don't think you've made it yet to be able to relax that much, and that's what you're seeing transfer to the park. There's a comfortableness where the players are relaxing, like Alistair Johnson just looks like he's taking the foot off the pedal, and that's what's always my problem with Taylor as well, because he's comfortable because he's made it. He's playing 90 minutes a game. He's fucking loving his football. I'd be wanting to be telling everybody in the world in front of a camera as well if I was him. But that's the problem I think that we have, like when we go into these losing streaks and all that. I don't know, they don't have we need more Jotas and O'Reillys in the team, and less guys that are comfortable with social media.
Nah, that's true. Before we move on to the next point, though, I need to bring this up because David Logue, you'll instantly laugh at this one from David Kelly. As for these young dafties who play FIFA 5 hours a day and wouldn't know a proper footballer if he was training in their back garden. Yeah, me and Mr. Logue are quite partial to more than 5 hours a day of FIFA, and I'm 38 years old, so I'm definitely not in the young category. I mean, I even run my own FIFA league, my own online FIFA league, so there you go. That's how dedicated I am.
And I definitely don't know if there was proper training going on in my back garden.
Yeah, yes, indeed. So, yes.
You're back on, David. You're back on, mate.
Exactly. But yes, I'm partial to more than 5 hours of FIFA a day, let's be honest. But yes. Anyway, moving on to the
Speak for yourself, Phil.
Liam, earlier on when you said, do you know what I hate about the interviews? I thought you were going to say Jerry McCulloch. I thought you were going to hit out with there because interesting link, a seamless link to Jerry McCulloch, obviously a player that he interviewed in the back of a taxi recently. And funny enough, I actually know the head of Celtic social media. True story, I genuinely do know him, and David Lowe can back this up. And I did ask him the other day. I was like, "What was that?" I was like, genuinely, like, who scripted that? Like, what was the idea? Why not just a regular sit-down interview? Why not just keep it all? But no, I had to slag him off for that one. I was like, seriously, the whole taxi interview, come on, man. But yeah, you said about the interviews, I was like, is he going to say Jerry McCulloch here? I know he's very much he can be very polarising figure, but Nicholas Kuhn, are we going to see him? I seen a comment coming earlier on, David, about are we going to get a chance to see him? Last week, apparently, when I was doing the Friday show, and I was unaware of this until I was live on the air, apparently he had toothache or some wisdom tooth issue. I thought people were winding me up. I thought they were genuinely trying to wind us up in the chat because we've had such a bad record, David, of people getting injured this season. I thought, surely, God, that's got to be a joke. That has to be. But no, it turned out that, yeah, he did miss the game. But will we see him tomorrow? Because right now, with Maeda being out in the Asian Cup, so obviously he's not available. Palmer, I think Palmer will play anyhow. But yeah, do you think Nicholas Kuhn starts, or is he going to be off the bench? Mikey Johnston looked lively when he came on. I saw plenty of people on Twitter saying that last week. Oh, Mikey Johnston looked lively when he skinned that Bucky Thistle fullback for Rocco Verstappen. Who do you think's getting the winger positions tomorrow, David?
I think if he's over the toothache, or I mean, toothache's maybe a bit of it's. If he had wisdom tooth issues, I mean, I don't know if anyone else is. I'm sure plenty of people in the chat have had wisdom tooth issues, but I had excruciating pain with my wisdom tooth that I had to have removed, and I had felt it for months and months. I don't know how long he's had to feel it. It was horrible, But as soon as it was removed, the pain went away instantly. So if that's the case, he should be fine. I mean, the boy was playing week in and week out, so he should be match fit. He's missed a game and a half worth of football because of the wisdom tooth issue. I'd like to think he'd start. I mean, Mickey Johnson's skin the bucket. This will play what to do. I mean, it looked great, but let's just remember who he was playing against here.
Let's keep the context here, context.
Yeah. I'd like to think that our huge, massive, incredible, colossal, gigantic Celtic transfer deadline day window, whatever the fuck you want to call them, because it looks like that's all it's going to be. I hope we're fucking playing them tomorrow. Because I mean, come on. Let's see him play. We are all excited to see him play. I'm sure there's a wee bit of skeptics out there whether he's going to be any good. Well, we'll only find out if he plays him. And I mean, come on, is he? He's not going to be any worse than what we've seen so far on the wings. This season.
True. Liam, wingers. Let's talk about another one. Abada. Interesting stories about him in the last few days. A loan move, apparently linked with a loan move out of the club to an English Championship side. I think Watford and West Brom were some of the names swirling around. Interesting enough, West Brom was also a name linked with Mikey Johnston on loan. Watch this space, see what happens there. But there was also a story as well last week at the end of the Bucky Thistle game. Naturally, the players acknowledged the fans that were still in the stadium by obviously doing the usual sort of go-around. Obviously, the fans that stayed and they actually showed up in the first place in storm conditions, and it only got worse as the game went on. Apparently, Abada didn't stick around, though, and he was right up the tunnel. One of these that, again, people who were there claimed that that's what happened. So they might very well have. But yeah, it's interesting where Abada obviously was, for the whole political climate and whatnot, what's going on in the Middle East. And then it seems like the club are very much, I know a lot of fans, the ovation that he got when he came on against Rangers showed to me that the fans are very, very much behind him. There isn't any animosity. I mean, see if he came on, right, in that game against Rangers and got booed or something. I was there that day in the stadium, and I can tell you right now, there was no booing or anything at all. But I do find it interesting that, they say no smoke without fire. We did talk about this, of course, last week, Liam, with the Kuhn deal happening, and then there was these Stephen McGowan articles getting posted about Abada maybe leaving and stuff, and the whole cynical side comes in. Are they buttoning us up with one player in, one player out? What's it going to be here? But I'd like to think that Abada will stay. I mean, I still think he's a great player when he's shown when he's on it, and he's still so young as well. He's got a lot of development to do, and he's already this good at that age. But are you worried that before Thursday we're going to lose him and it's going to leave us with very little time? Not that we would necessarily do anything, even if we had a month to solve it. But are you worried that Abada's going to disappear before Thursday, or?
I don't know. Does Jerry McCulloch do return journeys to the airport?
Interview him on his way out is a going away interview. Oh, Jesus. Don't give them ideas. Don't.
No, that would just be to set the record straight with Jerry McCulloch, I don't know. Fuck, that's the thing. It's just all rumours, isn't it? And if you start with some stuff, you start, fuck, I'm going down this route or doing a fucking tunnel or whatever, but fuck. I don't know. It's just one of the things where it's like if he goes, I think there's going to be more talk of why he left and all that, because it makes no sense for us football reasons when he's coming back. And what are we going to get from him right now? What's the team going to pay for him? Because he's been injured and he's not really came back and showed his best, right? So that's the thing to see. So I'd play him tomorrow. I think you play him and you get back to full fitness or whatever, and then sell him in the summer if he doesn't want to be here. But we've got a title race on. We can't lose another player, and especially Abada filled in well as a striker last year. I thought when Gigi was in that as well, and he did a great job in that. And I thought he was lively, and I thought he was good. And I think we miss that as well. The way he pinches in for the wing we don't have anybody that comes and wants to be that second striker. Dizan gets there, he can get to the position, but he's not a second striker. He doesn't have the strike, whereas Abada's got a good laser focus for goal. So I hope we don't sell him, and I hope it's no because he's, upset about the flags or whatever, and like that. Because that's no us, but fuck.
I think it would do Palmer a world of good to be maybe on the subs bench, just because, there has been some hot and cold from Palmer recently. I think when he is on it, he's been a very valuable player, but there's been some games recently where he's just been horrendous, absolutely dreadful. And also, Liam, we've got a request from one of the viewers who came in. NM has asked Liam to tell it or show us the artwork on the wall behind him, or is there a website to check out of his work? Now, you've got an Instagram account that's got your work on it.
Yeah, Punk Duck Warlord on Instagram, or follow me on Twitter as well, Punk Duck Warlord. Aye.
I'll put that in the chat. Punk Duck Warlord on Instagram. Yeah.
Do a Burns night in Vancouver. Did a Rabbi Burns night, and we had some of the Celtic club down there. And that was a brilliant night. We had a piper come in, all dressed in pink kilt and all that. Just sort of what he was just jumping about the neighbourhood. Came in, had a couple of whiskies and left. I talked to him on the way out. He's from South Africa. African accent. It was like, okay. Pink bagpipes, pink sporring.
But yeah, you can. We've mentioned it before on the bus about Liam's Insta page. But yeah, there you go. The text at Punk Duck Warlord on Instagram. That's where you will find Liam's stuff. And there's a few times you've been on camera, Liam. You've had the camera pointing like your work behind you. But it does appear on camera quite a few times. But yeah, you'll see it all over on Insta. If you head over there, NM, you'll get it. There we go. Nice.
Yeah.
Very good.
That's a story of my family for years about so that's a guy named Chief Kicking Bear, and he was for Oglala Lakota for South Dakota, right? One of the Sioux tribes, like the big one of them all. They were the last to surrender. Anyway, he ended up in Glasgow for like 6 months, and all that, became a legendary figure. And there's all these stories about when the 23 Lakota prisoners of war were all in Glasgow at the same time during the 1800s. And so, ain't that guy a few times. It was a commission.
Nice. That's good stuff. I say very talented to some of the work that you've shown us. So definitely head over there, guys, and have a wee look at that. But in terms of the team, I think it's pretty much settled. To the midfield, I think it would be O'Reilly, Bernardo and McGregor, and up front. Yeah, I would give a bad start to my saying Palmer could probably do with a bit of time on the bench. Yeah, Kyogo's going to start because we don't have many choices right now. But yeah, we need him to just do what he did against Rangers. Just keep doing that now because right now we are, and again that's another position that we need to address before Thursday. But we'll do quick predictions before we go and look at the poll results, guys, and have a wee quick last 5-minute chat on any other positions and players and whatnot that we're linked with. But David, what do you think tomorrow? Ross County, first game of the season. It's the same fixtures as the first day of the season. We beat them 4-2 on that day. I think we started that game pretty well and we let them get some pretty soft goals where Joe Hart, the first of a few times this season, he's got left stranded at a corner and they scored off of that. But hopefully they don't get any tomorrow. Obviously, Derek Adams is now the manager. The very loud, very opinionated Derek Adams, who has...
What a weird guy, man. What a weird guy.
I know. Comes back to Scottish football and basically says, Scottish football's shite. Well, you knew you were signing up for. This is your third time as Ross County manager, mate.
Yeah.
Well, and Partick Thistle beat them in the Scottish Cup the other week quite handsomely in Dingwall. So a lower division team done you in as well. So surely we should have no problems with Ross County tomorrow, David.
I'm going to go 3-0.
3-0. Fair dues, man. That's a good shout. And Liam, what about yourself? 3-0 or more? What do you think?
Aye, 3-0. 3-0. I think Scales with a last one. I think he's going to do the slide. He's going to pull up. He's going to have a Greg Taylor t-shirt. Like whole team.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, reminds me of the Photoshop one years ago with Paddy McCourt, and he had the Lionel Messi had the Paddy McCourt t-shirt under his Barcelona one. I remember that one years ago, the Photoshop job. But yeah, a few scores coming in. 6-0 for David Kelly. 6-0 from Uncle Robbie Steamboat as well. So yeah, it's quite confident. Oh, another 6-0. My God, I feel pressure here to say 6-0 as well. Do you know what? I'll say I'll say 5. I'll go 5 now. I'll go with that one then. Last week I even bottled it last week at Bucky Thistle, and I said at least 5 goals in it. So I was right, but yeah, I didn't commit to a score, but I'll go for 5 tomorrow. But at the end of the day, it's just about getting the 3 points from our point of view. Now, obviously, I put a poll up at the start of the show to see how many players we will sign before Thursday. What do the fans think? So let me just get that on my screen and have a wee look at what they've went for. I have a feeling already know what the answer is going to be. And in last place is 3 or more with 6% of the vote. 2 has 22% of the vote. 1, 35% of the vote. And to no surprise, 37% of the vote, depressingly, is 0. Oh God, I hope that's not the case. I really hope it's not. Oh God, please. Because yeah, we do obviously need to, it's the same positions that we keep talking about, Liam. We sound like broken records. Left back and striker, without doubt, our priority. We're not very likely to change the goalkeeper, even though we do definitely need to be looking at a goalkeeper. Contingency plan, Celtic, does that ring any bells at all? Because Joe Hart is probably going to be gone in the summer. He's probably going to hang it up, I would reckon. And yeah, I would say, people say, oh, you can't bring in a new goalkeeper now. Why not? Why not? You should be looking to always. So to me, it makes sense to try and get a goalkeeper. Sadly, we've left it way too late in the window. Unless Celtic have some sort of magic stored away, some rabbit they're going to pull out the hat and just go, here you go, 4 players on deadline day. I can't see that happening at all. But we are just going round in circles. And the weird thing is, from the summer there, I know Bhoys was very much on the boat of we're going to sign big name players. Brendan's back for a reason. I was in the exact same field. I was exact same. I was just like, yeah, man, this is going to be amazing. He's came back for a reason. It's going to be, they've ripped up the books. It's going to be fully backing him. He's going to get what he wants. And now it's got to the point where I've even running up to the January window there, Liam, every time I brought it up, I kept saying, don't get my hopes up. Don't get your hopes up yet, folks. And now I've just got pure apathy for it. And I'm sitting here now. I should be raging that this is the case with 4 days to go. But I'm genuinely just like pure apathy. And I'm just like, I kind of expected this, sadly. And it's really sad that that's what this has done. And it's grinded fans down to the point where they're just like, it's par for the course now, isn't it, Liam?
I really thought we'd have been shopping in the MLS. Just being over here and hearing all that buzz about it and watching some of the players and then looking at the success that we get with Alistair Johnson and then knowing that there's now a connection with him and Carter-Vickers and, even Palma, the whole Honduras, that whole side of the world, right? North American. I thought we'd be going there because that would have gave them plenty of time to scout players. Their season ends in November. So, right up Lowell's alley. I think the 2 of them, getting the corporate, the cabana gear on, the wee hat thing, strutting about LA, making deals for players and fucking haggling over $100,000 and all that because they do that there. I think they'd fit. I'm surprised we didn't go that route because I think they would have loved that. But I don't know. I don't think this is a time to be. I don't know. Do you think Rodgers really thinks he has the players available and that they're just not hitting performance?
No. Keep in mind, there's been a few clues, a few breadcrumbs put out there when he had that weird press conference a few weeks back where he basically said that Navrosky and Lagerbielka just aren't cutting it, essentially, was pretty much what he was saying. He was basically telling us, and it's like, wait a minute, we've spent the best part of £8 million on these 2 in the summer, which is a big spend for Celtic, which is mad to think, given that was the type of signings we were making 20 years ago, and that's still the sort of standard prices we're paying on players. But yeah, to me, like clues like that getting thrown out. And of course, the last time that happened, Liam, he was throwing some clues out there. We know how that ended. So
the clue in Phillips, that was the clue, right?
Yeah.
Away in Phillips, and it was like, okay, that seems we've got more than enough now, because I don't think we had the full injury crisis at that point yet.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Clue was there.
I'm not surprised that he's not even. There's not been any link with any of his former players at Leicester, like none whatsoever. Like guys that he brought in that maybe aren't getting game time at Leicester since he left. No, I'm surprised at that. It's probably lazy links, but the fact that he's not even considered going there is a strange one. Like that Patson Daka, I don't think he's getting much I mean, somebody could correct me if I'm totally off on, but I'm sure Rodgers signed Patson Daka, and I don't think, he tore up the French league or the
He was playing for Salzburg, I want to say.
Salzburg, sorry. Yeah, you're right, RB Salzburg. I mean, and then I don't think he did too great at the Premier League level, but like, it's when Bhoys was mentioned players that, could do with we might have to look at players that are looking for a resurgence in their career, right? And I mean, Jamie Vardy is the obvious one, but that's more like a last hurrah than a resurgence. But like the Patson Daka comes to mind for me. Is Iheanacho, is he still at Leicester?
Iheanacho's still there. Yeah, he's still
guys
at Leicester.
Guys like them, I'm like on loan for 6 months to try and if that's even what we're at the point where we're kind of well, if we need somebody, maybe that's the route that we go down. I'm just surprised that nobody that Rodgers has worked under has been mentioned at all in this window, even if it's just to get content out in the papers. I'm just quite surprised by it, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I do think my feeling on the poll that I filled up is I think we will get 2 players in, but it'll be loans to the end of the season, which read into that what you will, if that's any good, just to get us over the line. But I know there's a lot of things about, we need to be looking at players that are going to improve us in Europe and all that. But first and foremost, we've got to actually win the title in order to be in the Champions League. And we need to deal with that first and foremost. So you're trying to tell me that we haven't identified a player that's better than what we've got in, for example, Greg Taylor at left back, where we've only got to play for the next 6 months, St Mirren's and Motherwell's and Aberdeen's and stuff. You're trying to tell me we couldn't identify a player that can do that? Yes, obviously it would be ideal to get these players that would come in and improve us at Champions League level. But first and foremost, the bread and butter is we've got to make sure we win this title more than anything. And right now, with the way the board essentially are gambling, we're only a few more injuries away from an absolute all-out crisis in terms of like the how threadbare it is. We've seen some of the drop-offs this season. When our first team are on it and they are motoring, they are very, very good. It has been shown, but the problem is trying to keep them all fit this season has been a huge problem. But I do think they will get some players in on loan, and that'll just need to be the hand that Brendan's been dealt. Whether he sticks it out is another story. I say the warning signs are there. We have obviously seen where this has went before. And in regards to Patson Daka, I know that you've mentioned him before, David. The problem with him is, I see this would be such a Celtic thing to do. If we were to sign him on loan, do you know that he's at the African Cup of Nations just now with Zambia?
Oh, is he? Right, well, there you go.
Yes. So I looked that one up because I knew you're right. He hasn't been playing that much for Leicester. And I looked him up and I looked at Zambia's squad at the African Cup of Nations, and it turns out he's currently there. So it's like, yeah, we would go and do that, wouldn't we? Because as it stands right now, we've only got Kyogo as our only available striker. We've got Ross County tomorrow, and then we've got Hibs and Aberdeen coming up at Pittodrie and Easter Road. I don't know what order it comes in, if it's Hibs next week or Aberdeen next week, but that's the next 2 games coming up after Ross County, and it's like, oh, Jesus. And if Kyogo gets injured or anything, oh, my God, it doesn't bear thinking about. So there's got to be another striker option, surely. If it's somebody on loan, then so be it. It's not ideal, but hey, we're going to just have to go with, I reckon, if that's the case. But I will remain hopeful, quietly hopeful, that come Thursday night, they'll produce something to at least bolster our numbers to get us through. Because right now, I say, we're a few injuries and suspensions away from some problems. So hopefully there is a shining light out there that's going to come in and really get us over the line, really push us on. But it's all in the hands now of the hierarchy at the club, and that's a worrying thought. But on that note, and I said at the start of the show, we were going to try our best to be positive, but my God, it's hard. Come on, Celtic, throw us a bone here. Give us something. Over the next few days, obviously, we'll have PMP tomorrow after the Ross County game. Obviously, Terry and Russell will be around for that. Sunday Blair, David, will we be blaring on Sunday?
Always. Well, not always, because that's not true at all, is it? But yeah, I do plan on being on Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's fair dues. And then, of course, Monday Club. And it'll be Thursday night is deadline night, which is usually the TNF. So it could be a TNF transfer special on a Thursday night. Oh my God, because obviously they've been doing this format recently where it's like just like Russell and Mark. And Mark on deadline night. Just think of the box office of Marc on deadline night. Oh my God.
Oh, you just be watching these veins in his forehead just getting more prominent with each hour as the clock's ticking down. That's so, you know, when it strikes midnight and he's just red in the face and there's steam flying out his ears. That's when you know that the window's shut.
And there's an image for GG can end this one. Relax, guys, plenty of time. I placed my eBay bids for the last 9 seconds. So there's Peter Lowell sitting there with his finger over his mouse at his computer, and he's just waiting to submit a bid with 9 seconds to go on Thursday night. That's what he's doing. That's the plan. That's it. I hope he's got a few computers lined up and a few people. Put Jerry McCulloch to good use. Jerry McCulloch can stand over one of the computers as well, and he can submit a bid. There we go. That'll get us to the players. But yeah, we need to.
Your iPad.
Oh, yes, David Kelly. We tried. Yes. I'm just preparing myself. Get your bingo card ready for Thursday night. What are they going to say? What are they going to come out with? Hopefully, we don't need to fill the bingo card in, and hopefully the surprises. But we just need to live in hope. But yeah, guys, we're out of here. So obviously, game tomorrow. Enjoy it however you watch it. If you're going to the game, obviously, you know, hopefully it's a good one, a good spectacle for us. They give us a few goals to cheer, and it isn't this horrible, turgid, 11 men behind the ball from Ross County, just try to break it down. Hopefully we go at them early on and, you know, put them to the sword, get those 3 points on the board. But yeah, we're out of here. Enjoy the rest of your night. In Liam's case, enjoy the rest of your day, Liam. You've got pretty much a whole day ahead of it. And yeah, we will catch you later. Tune in for PNP tomorrow. And hail, guys. Catch you later.